Hello, my friends. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Move Ahead with Dalia. I'm your host, Dalia Cajigas. And on today's episode, I have a very special guest, Orlando Rivera. He is the co-founder and executive director of the Chicago Quatro Orchestra. Thank you, Orlando, for being here today.
You're welcome. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's so wonderful to watch you play. It's magical. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for starting the podcast like that. It was beautiful.
That was Puerto Rico's national anthem.
It is.
La
Okay. Wow. You see, you're going to teach me a lot today. I know that. Orlando, I want to start by having you talk a little bit about the Chicago Quatro Orchestra and, of course, about the beautiful instrument, the cuatro.
Okay, beautiful. Chicago Quatro Orchestra, it's a nonprofit organization, 501c3 nonprofit organization with a history of 26 years, basically. Mm-hmm. We're going to celebrate our 27 now this year. In December 9th.
Beautiful.
It was a product of a car accident I have.
Really?
Yeah, I had. Yes, definitely. In 1995, well, 1995 and before, I used to be a freelance bass player. So I used to get calls from different artists to go back them up anywhere.
Mm-hmm. Sounds whatever. Like something my son is doing now. Go ahead.
Anywhere. And then, so I did that for many, many, many years. So then one night I was backing up one of the salsa greatest soneros, singers from New York, David Rivera. And then after the show, I decided to take the most beautiful and clear route. And then it just happened that few lights ahead, a drunk driver will hit me. And hit me total, broke my hands, my wrists, everything. Mm-hmm. So in that moment right there, I decided never again play at nightclubs or at night. I could not even drive at night.
Real.
After that. So 26 years after that, people still call me to play. I say, I'm sorry, I'm retired.
No more late nights.
No more. And then when I was with the cast on my hand, rehabbing and getting better, then my brother David, he put a cuatro similar to this one in my hand, broken hand. He said, Orlando, I don't know how you're going to do it, but you're going to learn to play the cuatro and you're going to teach it to people in Chicago because there's cuatristas, amazing cuatristas, but there's no teachers that could teach massive groups at the same time. The ordinary people that never had the opportunity to learn, know? And I said, David, I cannot even hold the instrument. He said, figure out. So with my cast like this, I was literally just like that.
Really?
And I could not move. So I started doing what I knew, which was exercises, moving my fingers, and this is what you could hear. That's what you could hear. And little by little, I don't know, I got stronger. When they removed the cast, took the x-ray, the doctor told me, what do you do, And I said, what do you do? What? I said, well, you did something because your wrist is almost perfect, And I said, wow, the only thing I did was learning a new instrument. Then I explained about the instrument. He told me, you got to continue doing that because that instrument fixes your hand. So that was the call from God to me personally that this is what I should be doing from this time on. And it's been 26 years. We offer free classes to the community. Every year, every 2 years, we expand, depending on the funding, we expand the program to more program. We started with just the cuatro. Yeah. Then we added the guitar.
Yes.
Then we added the percussion, then the tiple, which is a smaller cuatro.
I was about to ask you, what is the tiple?
Tiple is the grandfather of the cuatro. Our ancestors,
so
it's smaller because it was easier to build, Okay. You just cut the tree with the same machete.
So it's kind of like the original cuatro.
The original cuatro. That was the I would say, it's not proven, but it's like the inspiration to create the cuatro. Okay. So many, our history it was not, as you know, it was not, clearly registered in the books. So people don't know how the cuatro came for real. We have theories. We can use as a reference different, old people experiences, interviews with some people, and readings from different Spaniards that wrote about the island in certain times of the history. But really, we don't know how this thing came out. What we know is somebody got inspired by watching the Spaniards instruments coming to the island. And remember, our ancestors, they live in the mountains.
Right.
And to go to the town where the Spaniards live, they had to travel miles and miles and miles walking or on horse. And that happened only maybe once a month or once every 6 months or once a year,
Wow.
And then they went that time to exchange, products for products that they needed in the countryside or whatever. And then whatever they saw, whatever they heard, stood in their heads. And these are people that did not know how to write or read. So imagine how talented, how good memory these people had, that they kept those experiences in their head. And by the time they went back home, then they were able to look around. How can I make an instrument? I have a machete. I have the idea. Let me cut this string and start doing something. and then, they created all these instruments. It's not only the cuatro. The cuatro was the last one. Was the one that survived. But we used to have our own guitar, which is called the bordonua, which is a super big cuatro.
What is it called? The
Bordonua, Borduna, Bordonua. Yeah, which is like, let's call it the Puerto Rican guitar. Okay. But, it was a little different. And then the tiple, which is the high pitch, it was like a choir, like the symphony orchestra, that you have the violin, you have the viola a little bigger, and then you have a cello, and then you have the double bass. We used to have, our own Jibaro orchestra instruments. And then, because the political and social changes happen in the island, because of that, then the instrument also changed, the music changed, other music overpower our music, and then new generations started listening to other things, and then disappear. And then in the 1960s, more or less, a new movement started. And then Dr. Francisco Lopez Cruz, rest in peace, he went to Spain. He did a doctorate degree, and his theory, what he proved in his book to pass, the doctorate degree, it was the history of the cuatro, how to teach music and all of that stuff. And he found out many things that people did not know. And he just, survive, make this come back alive again. And then the young generation started getting into it, especially the young generation that wanted to know more about their history, Imagine the cuatro has more history than our flag. Our flag, we got it the other day. Yes. 1 century ago. The cuatro is like 3 centuries old, or who knows, more if we take in consideration the instruments that inspired it, as a chain of, it started here and then it became this. So it's probably more. You don't know. There's nothing that we can use to prove it. But in my, I think just using common sense, it was like that. But that's how everything started. And I could tell you more and give you more details.
Yeah. So why do they call it a cuatro? Do you know?
Originally, there are many theories out there. There's one theory that says that the first cuatro, let's say the tiple, was small. It used to have 4 strings. Okay. By the way, the tiple used to have 3, sometimes 2, sometimes only 1 string. You could find different kind of sizes of tiples. Some people had very small, tiny with only 1 string, really? And then a little bigger with 2, other with 3. But then the 4 got popular, Right. And then that was the one that survived. And then Later on, I would say 20th century or probably the 20th century, then they added the fifth string, but mostly was four strings.
Okay.
And because it was four strings, they call it the cuatro.
Yes.
But there's another cuatro in Venezuela.
Oh, there is.
There's another, they don't look alike, they don't sound alike, you play totally differently. And there's other stories or theories that maybe the Puerto Ricans got inspired by the Venezuelan cuatro and they use it, but I think that's not a real one. Mm-hmm. To me, the number of the strings make more sense,
sure.
And because where the jibaro is going to go to when it's going to go to Venezuela, or maybe somebody from Venezuela coming to Chicago, to Puerto Rico. With the Venezuelan cuatro in those days, it's it's hard.
Yeah, that's a stretch.
We're talking about 1700s. That's hard. But then there's another theory, the Arabic theory. Okay, that we have roots, Arabic strong roots in the Arabic civilization.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And because Spain was dominated for 8 centuries, not 2, not 3. 8 centuries, 800 years by the Moors, mm-hmm. Muslims, and they had instruments similar to the cuatro.
Okay.
And then
that could make more sense.
Exactly, and they had a word for a high pitch instrument, mm-hmm. cutter, something like that. Probably I'm mispronouncing it, but it sounded like that, and probably that word evolved and came to us, and then us Puerto Ricans, the Jibaros, we make we have our own language, we have our own way to talk, exactly, and they change it to cuatro, and that appeals to me a lot, because if you hear the Arabic instruments, I'm telling you, they sound very similar to the cuatro, Puerto Rican cuatro.
Interesting.
Yes. So then we have many people goes for the 4 strings, which makes a lot of sense. Mm-hmm. And others goes also for the Arabic roots, and many people are still studying. So who knows what's going to be the next theory.
Right. What is the next theory? So I see that your cuatro has
10 strings.
10 strings. I was going to say 8. I didn't notice the other 2.
Yeah.
So is this the cuatro that you teach?
The modern cuatro.
Program?
Exactly. This is the modern cuatro.
The modern
cuatro. Which is called the violin-shaped cuatro. Mm-hmm. Because originally the cuatro shape was not like this one. So if you look at a triplet shape, I don't know if we could see it there. If you see a triplet shape, no, it's not there. The triplet shape is mostly, no, it's not there. Maybe in the photos, the gallery, if you go to the gallery or events, you could find triplet somewhere. No, not yet. Well, anyways, important thing is that the triplet has like the old skeleton keyholes. The doors, the hole, mm-hmm. which is like a square on top and then a circle at the bottom. Yeah. That was the original shape of the triple, of the cuatro. And then in the early 19th century, I will say the beginning of the late of 19th century, beginning of 20th century, then the jibaro, the Puerto Ricans, they started looking at the other instruments that look probably to them like more important and bureaucratic, more mm-hmm. important, and they say, let's change the shape, to make it look more important, and they shift from the keyhole shape to the violin shape. Okay. And that's why we call it the modern violin shape cuatro. Used to have only 8 strings, mm-hmm. and then they added 2 more so we could do chords and do more other things besides the melody, because the cuatro is a melodic instrument, Yes. It's just melody notes. But then by adding more strings, and now you could play melody, but you could play chords and many other things. So basically, they added those two just to go with the progress of the century, of modernization.
Yes, to stay modern.
Exactly, and that's what we have today. Now we have today, and this is acoustic. This is an acoustic instrument, meaning originally there was no electric equipment or anything. Now we have electric cuatros with different shapes, every kind of shape you can imagine. You can put pedal, you can make sound like an electric guitar. You could do everything. So I have students that they're doing wonderful things with the cuatro.
Sure.
They're playing things that my grandparents, not even my grandparents, cannot imagine that it was possible with the cuatro.
I love it. So let's talk a little bit about the students. So I'd love to hear about the CCO Project, what it's about, and how people can get into it or get involved in it or help with the project.
Oh, very important. Help, volunteering. We always need volunteers. That's what keeps us alive. This is a free program to everybody.
It's free.
We don't charge anybody. Okay. The reason why is my philosophy. I come from a very poor family. Mm-hmm. When I had the chance when I needed a teacher to teach me music, there was no teacher. There was only one teacher in my town, and they charge. And my family couldn't afford it. Right. So I told myself, if one day I become somebody important, I would not charge anybody that wants to learn.
And you have become someone important because I just want to mention real quick that my son Quentin took this program when he was about 7 or 8 years old. He was in it for 2 years. Mm-hmm. He learned the Spanish guitar, with the other students that were learning the cuatro. Mm-hmm. And ensemble. It was incredible. And he loved it. He enjoyed it so much. And it was a commitment. Mm-hmm. It was a very important commitment. But he stuck with it, and he still plays guitar today.
Awesome.
And I give a lot of credit to the CCO Project and to you and David for your dedication to giving this program to young kids. Mm-hmm. I know it's all ages, but especially for the children who need something to
get
them.
Involved.
Yes.
Exactly.
So yes, go ahead. Keep going about the project.
So basically, we concentrate on developing skills and the talent on children, but also on the whole family. When you go to our programs, you're going to see the grandpa with the grandchild, the mom with the son, the dad with the daughter, the uncle with the nephew. You see both learning. Yeah. And now because we offer so many instruments, then there's more chances for people to, get together.
Pick what you really like and learn it together.
And then it's amazing because kids always learn faster.
Yeah.
Than anybody. So they start like this, shy, and they cannot play whatever, and the parents are, okay, I could do this. And then all of a sudden, in a matter of a month or two, you see the child, hey, look, Dad, you can do this, I'll pass you. So, and then you see that kind of amazing bonding between the father and the daughter or whatever relation, and then plus, because it's an ensemble. We don't teach one-on-one. It's an ensemble.
Right.
So this is a massive. This is like teaching a symphony orchestra everybody at the same time.
Isn't that incredible how people learn that way too? It's just like one-on-one is great, but in a group,
it's hard.
Because I've seen it. My son Devin, he's a percussionist, and he took music in Lincoln Park High School for 4 years. And I watched, because I was involved in their programs, I watched how all the students, started kind of rusty with a song. And within 2 months, they were playing it beautifully.
Yep.
It's just incredible how that comes together.
Well, it's the teacher, super important. It's like an army. The general is, it's the one that makes that army move forward, right? With strategies and whatever.
Yes.
And then be organized so you could teach lessons that you could see and show progress,
Yes.
Measure it and then push always push to the next, and that's what we do. And in our program, I have to tell you that really anybody could learn. This is not made for people with talent only. No, I didn't make my curriculum thinking about people with talent.
Right.
I made it thinking about people that never in their life thought that they could play the instrument or an instrument. And then we start from scratch. We teach you how to hold it, everything, how to tune it. We teach you how to understand a system that you could read and follow the music. And then we teach you repertoire techniques. We teach you, more important than anything else, how to listen to others, and play together.
Yeah.
Because eventually our fourth level, the last level, is the Chicago Quatro Orchestra. Mm-hmm. So this program basically teaches and gives people the opportunity to learn to play an instrument, but also to play as an ensemble, as part of the ensemble. Mm-hmm. And if you stay with us for 4 years and follow the recipe, the minimum that is going to happen to you is that one day you'll be part of the Chicago Quatro Orchestra.
Yeah, you're going to be on stage performing, and not just once a year. You perform a lot. How many performances?
Well, before now is only 4 or 5, but before COVID, we used to do 25 gigs a year, okay. 30. 35, we used to make the parents crazy.
I bet it was a lot of running around, but eventually it will be more because things definitely have opened up a lot now.
Definitely.
Yeah, so I read on your website, by the way, the website is the CCO Project.org, and I read that you've taught over 2,000 students.
Or more.
Right? Over 2,000 or more. That's just a number. Mm-hmm. But, and I don't want to just mention numbers. I want to mention the impact that this program has made in all the generations, as you mentioned, from child to elderly, and the different communities. Because although it's a Puerto Rican instrument and Puerto Rican music, it's for anybody. Anybody could learn it. Anyone can join. And again, it's free. And you're building something. You've built something that I don't think anyone else has. I haven't seen this anywhere, at least not in Chicago or in any other major city. Have you heard of any other major cities that have this program?
We have impacted other cities, and even Chicago. Chicago, it's not the same program, but they have similarity. That's thankfully we serve as an inspiration.
Yes.
And some of them we help directly. So they could have what they have today. And my vision was not only, and my brother's vision, David, which was the person that really made this to start.
Hi, David.
Saludo, my brother. Te quiero mucho. It was not only to create a Quatro program in Chicago, or a Quatro Orchestra. It was to go one day, create something strong here, and duplicate the exact same thing in all the other cities where the majority of people are, Puerto Ricans. Yeah. Not the majority, where they're Puerto Ricans. And so they can do the same thing and offer the same thing.
Yeah. This is a really important part of our culture.
Exactly.
And you're spreading that, and it's incredible.
And we had, we worked tight with Milwaukee, and they used to have a Milwaukee Quatro Orchestra. COVID shut them down, but I'm pretty sure they're going to get up. Indiana also. Texas has another program. Florida definitely need to have. I haven't heard anything from Florida. If anybody knows, please let me know. Go to the website and send a message. But I'm pretty sure that Florida must have a program also. Florida has most of the top Quatro players, soloists, virtuosos, that they moved from the island to there because Maria, because earthquake, because different situations, right? Looking for progress. and now they live in Florida. So Florida must have the mecca of the Cuatro programs.
If there's not a program out there, let's get some people
together
to talk about it and call Orlando and David.
And start something there. Yeah.
Yes.
So the same thing in New York, You may think that something like this exists in New York. No.
Yes.
They may have a little class to 2 or 3 kids somewhere.
Yes.
But a Quatro Orchestra, the way we have it in Chicago, for so many years, I can't believe it that we're already 26 years into this, a quarter of a century,
Well, and I just want to mention also is that the sponsors that help your program are what keep this moving as well, right? Because
Definitely.
there are a lot of sponsors. I went into YouTube and looked up the CCO Project, and I checked a lot of the events that you've had and all of the sponsors that have helped with the program. And, again, just like many nonprofits, it's hard to do any of this without them.
Oh, no, we need, without the sponsors, we can't survive, I could do what I do, but hey, I need to live too,
Right.
and money is super important everywhere in this country and everywhere. And without money, you cannot move forward to other levels,
Yeah.
So I would like one day to move to a level where every city in the United States, where there's Puerto Ricans, which is almost everywhere, have a program like this. And then one day create a national festival where we can create a national festival with a national orchestra where, okay, this year we're going to do it in Las Vegas, and all the best from New York, the best from Florida, the best from Chicago, the best from everybody will meet there. And then we rehearse for a week, and then we perform one night, and then we have a great experience like Casal Festival, like any other classical and jazz festivals, you know? That's what they do.
Yes.
They meet somewhere and they create music and do all of that. And then sponsors are super important,
Of course.
That's something that I would like one day before I go with God, to achieve, at least to see that somebody took this idea to the next level.
That's
and
right.
Create the national program, the national festival, the national orchestra, Quatro Orchestra.
You put it out there.
Yeah, it's been there for a long time. I'm telling you, but I know it's hard. It's hard to. It's not easy to find committed people.
It is a challenge, but I think that if people really set their mind to it, in any city, and they just start one step at a time. The first step is reaching out to you,
to
Orlando
Chicago Quatro
Rivera,
Orchestra,
to get to learn what you did to get started.
Exactly, and we're open to. Now with Zoom, with video, we don't need to go anywhere.
We don't have to travel.
We just talk. We can share our music. We can share our arrangement. We can share our curriculum. I can share my experience. I can guide anybody. This could be super possible, especially now today.
Especially now that we're past pandemic stage.
Yep.
I have another question for you. What advice do you have for the young generation in terms of getting into not just the Cuatro, of course, that would be wonderful, but in general to, if they aspire to be musicians, what kind of advice would you give them?
Well, they know, and they need to know that you have to commit. You have to be serious. You have to practice. Not 1 hour. We're talking about 5, 6, 7, 8 hours every day. That's what I used to do. Just to get to a normal average, You want to be, if you want to make the difference, then you got to do something more,
That's right. You can't be average.
You cannot be average. You cannot be good.
That's right.
You have to be exceptional. You have to be the best, Always do your best. You're 110% if it's possible.
That's right.
And very important, once you reach that, you need to study. Go make a career out of it. Go to college, study production, study administration. That's something I will tell any musician that want to make a career out of this. Take administration classes. Okay, don't let somebody else manage you. Learn to manage yourself.
That's such a great
Yes,
advice.
I'm telling you. Learn how to do bookkeeping. Learn how to market. Do marketing. Learn production. Learn how to write grants. Super important. And then learn the skills of communication, how to speak in front of audiences, to people, because without that, it's very hard. Depending on somebody that do all of that for you, it's very, very hard.
Yeah.
And really, really, you don't want that. Especially, now that we had COVID. We may have another one. You never know.
Right.
And you don't want to depend on somebody doing the job for you. You do the job,
You do it.
Exactly. You have to create the marketing. You have to create the need. You need to create everything, and you have to manage it yourself. And then look for help. And that helps will make you stronger. And hopefully, you will survive.
That's great
and be successful.
Advice. Very, very good advice.
Definitely.
Another question I have: who has influenced you the most in your career, in your musical career?
Well, people need to know that I am a believer. So to me, first thing was God. That was my inspiration. When I was 12 years old, I learned to play guitar, to play in church, to dedicate my music to God. Punto. That's
Beautiful.
it. And then from there, God, I don't know how, God gave me the chance to move to different levels. I was able to go to the Conservatory of Puerto Rico, graduate with high honors, and become part of symphony orchestra, playing with top salsa bands, to do so many things in this life that I never thought I could possibly do. Mm-hmm. But when I had the chance, I took it seriously, and I did my best. I was not the best, but I did my best, and apparently that was enough to move to the next, to the next level. But at the Conservatory of Music of Puerto Rico, we had the best double bass. I'm a double bass player. That's my main instrument, double bass. Okay. So we had the best double bass player of the world.
Really?
The best teacher, Manuel Verdeguel from Spain. Mm-hmm. This guy moved to Puerto Rico because he passed an audition to play at the Pablo Casals festival, which was, in those days, one of the top festivals of the world. Mm-hmm. So the top, I'm telling you, the top musicians, classical musicians of the world, they wanted to be in Puerto Rico in June to play at that festival. Mm-hmm. And to be part of that, you need to pass an audition. Mm-hmm. So you have to be better than the best of the world in order to be there. And then Pablo Casals, when he was alive, obviously, he was the one there checking and choosing who is going to be my double bass line, who's going to be my leader in the double bass line in every single section. And he chose my teacher, Manuel Verdeguel. Oh. It was amazing. So Manuel Verdeguel it was like my second dad, I'm telling you.
Really?
Like my second dad. This guy dedicated all his life to teach the best, and he guided me, he inspired me, he made me dreams that I never thought. He didn't want me just to think about, okay, you're going to be just a double bass player and that's it, or a teacher and that's it. No, he made me dream. No, Orlando, you're going to be a soloist. One day you're going to be with the San Francisco Symphony Orchestra. One day you could be with whatever, Boston Symphony,
That's
Chicago
wonderful.
Symphony. So he put those thoughts in my head. So I believed him. I believed in him. At some point I said, wow, I could do all of that. And then he started teaching me, and I saw the progress, me getting better and better and better. And I became the first chair of the Student Symphony Orchestra at the Conservatory of Puerto Rico. Then I played with the Puerto Rico Symphony Choir. I played with a chamber orchestra from the University of Puerto Rico, and I played with different. I came to United States. I was the first chair of the Northeastern University Symphony Orchestra in 1993, and played with different other symphony orchestra, plus the best salsa band in Chicago, which in those times the name was La Distinguida. Callito y La Distinguida. Oof, amazing.
Yeah.
Just to tell you quickly, the main players, the lead trumpet player was a lead trumpet player for Earth, Wind, and Fire. So you can imagine. So it was that high quality. Mm-hmm. All the other players were amazing. So saluda a los muchachos La Distinguida si algún día me ven. All right? I love you guys. Amazing musicians. Amazing. So I had so many good experiences. Chicago was so amazing. My plan was to come to Chicago, study my master's degree, and go back and teach at the conservatory. That was my plan. God's plan was something different.
Yeah.
And then I felt so welcome in Chicago. I understood right away that even though United States has so many opportunity, has so many people, so many musicians better than I, so many teachers better than I, and all of that. At that point, they needed a Puerto Rican music teacher, and the Puerto Rico didn't need, because Puerto Rico had so many. It was a competition over there, and I said, I'm not going to go to Puerto Rico to compete with my friends for a job. I stay over here and help. And it was amazing.
Well, it sounds like your music that you love to play, your instruments, have taken you in so many incredible journeys.
Yes, definitely.
And what I love about that story, Orlando, is what I hear is when you love what you do, mm-hmm. this is what can happen.
Exactly.
Now, does it happen to everyone? Absolutely not. But I could tell, because you're so passionate, that you've put a lot of dedication, commitment into your music, and your experiences have been, of course, not easy, but have been rewarding in all the things you've done in your life mm-hmm. so far. You have a lot more to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
So this
I hope so.
Yes, this is just a beautiful way of showing the listeners that if you choose to do something that you love to do and you commit to that, dedicate yourself to that.
Do it right.
And do it right. You have so many doors that can open up, right? I see that in all the stories that you're telling me.
It's been like that, Once you commit to do what you're going to do well, or the best that it's not well, do it the best that you can. If you have 5 hours of your life free to dedicate to that, do it. Dedicate every minute to that.
Get off the internet.
Exactly. Do it.
I do want to say one other thing before we finish up. There's a couple more things, but one of the things I want to finish up with saying is that you and David have been educators, not just in the CCO Project. No. Where else have you been teaching?
Before that, we were Chicago Public Schools, survivors of Chicago Public Schools.
So am I. I'm not a teacher, but I went to the CPS.
Yes, we were concert band directors, teachers. So we taught band and general music in Chicago Public Schools. I taught at Chopin. If anybody from Chopin.
I went to Chopin.
You went to Chopin? Here we go. So Chopin and Funston, I taught at those two schools. And then with the Quatro, I taught at Logandale, Lowell, and different other schools, and many other schools that now we're working to open at.
You've been impacting all these schools and all these students
everywhere that I can.
So many years, you and your brother, so mm-hmm. many years. So I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you.
You're welcome.
Very, very much, because, without teachers, music teachers, artists, teachers like you, our kids won't have that exposure and won't find their true love in whatever art they want to learn. Mm-hmm. One of the instructors at my son's school when they were in elementary, Mr. Rodney, was so impactful to the kids in the music program. And again, he is one of the reasons as well why both my sons are still in music, because he did it with so much love. And I know you guys.
Passion, right? You got to put that passion. So once that passion is there, you take it seriously. You organize yourself and you take action, because you could have all of that But if you don't take action, it's not going to happen.
Well,
Don't wait for anybody. Just take action.
Yeah, the music educators are really making a difference in the CPS schools.
Definitely.
I know that for a fact because I saw it with my own eyes in elementary and in high school.
Mm-hmm.
The last thing I want to talk about are the events coming up. Any events coming up?
Oh, yeah. Well, we normally do after COVID. We participate at the Earth Day event in Humboldt Park, which the whole community just go out at 9 a.m. They clean up the park, pick up garbage and all of that, and then around 10:30 or 11, then they start music shows,
Very cool.
And the Chicago Quatro Orchestra, or a small ensemble of our orchestra, will be there performing for 25 minutes on April 22nd, Saturday, April 22nd.
Okay. Put that on your calendar.
11 a.m. A boathouse.
Okay.
In Humboldt Park. Then after that, we're having our probably main event of the year, which is the graduation of our new students. And basically, we call it the Achievement Night. So that's when we take all the programs and we put everybody together.
Nice.
And we create a massive orchestra and they perform and play and show the families and friends what they've learned.
Oh, when is that?
That's going to be Friday, May 26th.
May 26th.
At 6 o'clock, Humboldt Park Fieldhouse.
I will be there. Okay.
That's going to be. And then we have also in October 14, we're going to have, like every year, we celebrate our Hispanic Heritage Month. We have to support that. We have to teach people what we have done for this country to make it better, right? Mm-hmm. And to teach culture and our music, et cetera, et cetera. And we do also a free show to the community. And then the main fundraiser, that's the only one that we charge, because there's where the money comes to keep the classes free, right, and everything, which is the Concierto Jíbaro Navideño that we do at the second Saturday of every December.
Okay.
So we already set for December 9th. This is last year's poster.
Last year's, but this is.
But you're going to see something similar.
Okay.
Exactly.
And is it the same? So it's not December 10 again?
No, this year's December 9.
December 9. So go to the website, the CCOproject.org, and keep an eye on that. Also, you're on Facebook, right?
Yes, Facebook, Instagram, everywhere.
As at the CCO Project. So go to the Facebook page, Instagram page, and follow them so you can stay up to date on the events coming up.
And then we start our free classes in October. Every first week of October, we start our classes, and we end in May. So it's an 8-month program.
Nice.
Once a week are the classes, and we teach cuatro, tiple, guitar, bongo, conga, and every year which we want to try to add more.
That's
until
wonderful.
We have the whole orchestra, and then so in September people should start going to our website and registering, because the class fill quickly. And once we have our 15 students on each class, boom, we close, and then we start moving forward. Okay. And classes are in Humboldt Park Fieldhouse too.
At the Humboldt Park Fieldhouse, they start in October, so keep an eye on that. It's a wonderful program. Like I said, my son was in it for 2 years, and he blossomed in this program. And
very important, help us to get funding by enjoying the orchestra, and we also bring artists from Puerto Rico and all over United States, the best cuatrista. We bring them over here so they can play and show what the cuatro could do.
Yes.
Plus our top students, they get together with the orchestra and we play and put a show too. And that brings money, and that money is the one that go back to the community, and we continue doing this project until who knows.
Please support the CCO project, and not just support it in funding, but follow them.
Volunteering.
Volunteer. That's very, very important to keep people involved. And of course, join the program if you are interested in it, so that you could learn more. They don't just teach you the music and the instrument, they teach you the culture.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
History, culture,
Yeah.
theory, everything, even jokes. Even jokes.
It's a lot of fun.
Yes.
Awesome. So I think we're all done. I'm just going to close out, and then we're going to finish up with a little bit more music from Orlando Rivera. Just wanted to remind you to go to the website, theccoproject.org. Thank you all for listening. And if you have any questions about today's show, you can reach out to me at 773-879-4855. You can message me on all social media platforms, Dahlia the Realtor. I would love it if you would share this episode, follow me, and subscribe. And I will see you at the next Move Ahead with Dahlia show. Make it a great day. Hit it, Orlando.
There we go.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That was
You're
beautiful.
welcome.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Woo!